Good morning, and thank you for your interest in the LIFE Clean Energy Transition Program, and in particular on the need for capacity building in public authorities. My name is Michele Sansoni. I'm a project manager in the LIFE Energy and Climate Unit of CINEA. And in this presentation, I will describe the LIFE topic addressing the technical support to clean energy transition plans and strategies in municipalities and regions. So this topic starts from the recognition that cities and regions have a key role in supporting the achievement of European energy and climate targets, including the ambitious target of 2050 carbon neutrality. However, cities and regions face significant challenging, and there is evidence that in order to play properly their key role, they have to further build their capacity, they have to concretely commit to the energy transition and effectively plan it, and they have to deliver institutionalized, cross-sectoral, and tailor-made sustainable plans and strategies. So on top of the need to further build the capacity of cities and regions in developing transition plan and strategies, several challenges can be noted. First of all, the need to move from plans which have only an energy perspective, such as sustainable energy and action plans, to plans which encompass the climate challenge and more broadly the needs of a transition. Then we have the need to align existing plans to the new and more ambitious targets of carbon neutrality and to the new time horizons, such as 2030 or 2050. There is also the fact that the energy transition requires more sectoral integration and innovative holistic planning. And there is also the need to secure political commitment and resources to deliver the plans, as well as to develop robust governance structures, since without them, it is difficult to move forward towards the implementation of the required actions. And last but not least, the necessity of ensuring coherence with other strategies at national level, such as the national energy and climate plans, the recovery and resilience plans, the long-term renovation strategies, which need to be supported from the local level. In terms of scope, the topic recommends that action should provide technical support to regional and local authorities, so to cities and regions, for the development of clean energy transition plans and strategies. They have to facilitate the institutionalization of integrated energy planning, and they have to focus on innovative planning processes and/or on areas and authorities with significant ambitions. So let's have a look now at those points in more detail. The technical support to build the capacity of cities and regions should encompass different necessary skills, from technical skills to legal skills to social skills, in order to develop ambitious and long-term clean energy transition plans and strategies for 2030 and 2050, which are coherent with the EU targets and the national reporting frameworks as we discussed before. The activities proposed by proposals here can be different, including tailor-made assistance, training programs for policymakers or public officers, replication and rollout of best practices, etc. And it's also important, those activities should guide local and regional authorities on how to gain resources to make the plans holistic, integrated and inclusive, and based on stakeholders' engagement and on social innovations. When the topic describes the need to make integrated energy planning institutionalized, so a formal part of the planning processes of local and regional authorities, here we look for proposals which can facilitate the cross-sectoral approach in which energy, clean energy, is planned together with mobility, transport, land use, urban planning, services, infrastructures, etc. So different perspectives are taken into account for an efficient and effective transition. The aim is to professionalize and accelerate the planning processes to break silos and increase cooperation between different departments of an administration to support higher ambition, so more ambitious targets because they are needed, and maximize the impact of the plans. We have always to consider the regulatory and social context by involving and engaging multiple stakeholders and citizens through new participatory policy models, new planning instruments, and governance structures. For what concerns the territorial focus of proposals, we have here two keywords. One is innovation and the other one is ambition. So the focus of proposals could be on public authorities willing to establish innovative planning processes through local pilots. So you could see them as the more innovative players, and or on geographical areas, municipalities and regions that are still lagging behind because they are affected by the transition and they are not fully engaged in it, although they need to be able to demonstrate a significant level of ambition. I included in this slide some examples of concluded or ongoing projects funded under the Horizon 2020 Energy Efficiency Program, which can give you a good overview of what can be proposed in this field and what can be proposed successfully. We have projects working on the harmonization of sustainable energy and sustainable mobility plans, or working on the harmonization of reporting systems for energy and climate planning. So they are, for instance, Simpla and Come Easy. We have projects which have developed capacity building activities for municipalities to develop CCAPs, Sustainable Energy and Climate Action Plans, such as Empowering, or projects who implement and finance CCAPs, such as the Prospect Training Program. Projects working on transition plans for regional carbon neutrality, CTRAC 50 is a very good example, or transition roadmaps for phasing out fossil fuels from urban heating and cooling, like Decarb City Pipes 2050, or working on municipal energy and transition plans like Empower. And last but not least, projects which have created sustainable energy networks at local level, such as Panel 2050, or that are involving local stakeholders and citizens in planning the transition, like Tomorrow. So I encourage you to have a look at those projects and be inspired by them when drafting your proposal. In this slide, you will find the expected impacts as drafted and proposed in the topic text, which are a key element of any successful proposal. It's important to say that there is no obligation to address all the impacts, but only those impact indicators mentioned in the text that are relevant. So you have to address only impact indicators that are relevant, considering the scope, objectives, and expected outputs of your proposed action. This is really important. In any case, the impacts mentioned in the text are the number of policies, plans, and strategies established through the action, the primary energy savings and the renewable energy generation triggered by the action, the political commitment and the appropriate resources secured for climate and energy transition plans. They could be expressed in euro or in % of resources supporting climate actions. Also, the number of institutionalized collaboration on the energy transition between various departments or various administrations in public authorities and between public authorities and stakeholders. The number of stakeholders involved in planning the energy transitions, the number of public officers with improved capacity and skills in planning the energy transition, and the number of public authorities mobilized that are currently not engaged in key European initiatives. And finally, the investments in sustainable energy triggered by the project in euros. So here, before concluding, some FAQs. So we have already seen how to deal with the list of expected impacts. So it is important to address only those that are relevant considering what you are proposing. On local authorities and the fact that they should be a part and beneficiaries of the consortium. So there is no obligation to include local and regional authorities as beneficiaries. However, public authorities need to be strongly engaged in the proposed activities, and that needs to be demonstrated in the proposal, so the strong engagement. Moreover, other relevant stakeholders can be part of the consortium. So on the other hand, there is no need to restrict the consortium to only public authorities. On the scope, we discussed that there are 3 main points in the scope section, and here it is considered equally relevant to focus only on one point or to address several points in combination with each other. This is my last slide, so really don't hesitate to keep in touch with us through different channels. You have here our website, our Twitter account, LinkedIn account, and YouTube channel. And with this, I want to thank you for the interest again and wish you good luck.